Tonight on the sideline, we are stepping away from Point Park sports for a week to talk about one of my favorite times of the year, and that is March Madness. So tonight we'll be breaking down every region. We will tell you who will win it all. So join me as we head on down the Pioneer sideline, March Madness style. Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Kyle Anthony, and behind me is the beautiful Brittany Loffer. We will start off by talking about the Midwest region, and I'm joined by Phil Poupore, Trever Sheets, and Tyler Jeski. The first game we're going to be doing is Cincinnati-Purdue. Who you guys got?
Well, first thing I want to say is, Kyle, Brittany, you look fantastic. Second thing, Cincy's going to win because they play better offense and they play better defense. And I think Purdue really has been struggling of late, and that's why I believe Cincy's going to win.
But you're wrong, because Cincinnati is no longer in a strong conference anymore. Sure. They are now in the American Conference. And Purdue has two giants on the court, in A.J. Hammonds and Isaac Haas, both 7-footers. A.J. Hammonds averages 11.8 points per game and 6.5 rebounds. And Isaac Haas, coming off the bench, 7.6 points per game and 4 rebounds.
Well,
they're going to win.
Can they stay out of foul trouble is my question.
That's why they got 2.
That's true. And Cincinnati, they don't have anyone that can take over a game like the A.J. Hammonds can. Yeah. Cincinnati averages 60 points per game in the American Conference.
Exactly.
Purdue in the Big Ten averages 70 points per game and holds opponents to 64. So I'd have to say I'd have to go with Purdue as well.
All right, so we have Brittany. We're going to have Purdue moving on. All right, guys, 5-12, West Virginia, Buffalo.
It's going to be West Virginia. Buffalo is only going to be in the first tournament ever. They don't have the experience. They're gonna get nervous. They're not gonna have what it takes to beat West Virginia. Juwan Staten's gonna be coming back in this game. Highest score for the Mountaineers at 14.5 points per game. It'll be the Mountaineers.
Definitely, Buffalo's fast style of play kind of plays right into the strength of West Virginia. They create offense off of turnovers. They really one of the best transition teams that I've seen, and that's why I believe the same as Trevor and I think Phil does as well, that WVU would definitely win this game.
Well, you know what, Tyler? You're right. Clean sweep for West Virginia University. They have depth, lead the country in steals and offensive rebounds. They've struggled coming in, but I don't think they're going to have any problem with beating Buffalo.
All right, guys, we got to move on to the next game. So West Virginia moving on. Wichita State, Indiana. Who we got?
Wichita State. I can't help but go with Wichita State. They have great guard play in Fred Van Fleet, 13 points per game, 6 assists per game, and Ron Baker with 15 points per game. I just have to say they're coming in hot, 10-2 in their last 12 games. I'd have to say the Wichita State's going to ride that momentum and take down Indiana.
I agree. Guard play always matters in March. Wichita's hot. They'll move on.
I agree. Wichita State has good guards, so does Indiana. Wichita State has better guards.
All right, that's a clean sweep. We got Wichita moving on. Now, guys, a game in Pittsburgh. Butler, Texas.
It's going to be Butler. Butler's experience with winning versus big teams. They beat UNC this year, Georgetown this year, St. John's this year, Xavier, and Providence. Well, last time I checked, all those teams are in the NCAA tournament. They have the experience, what it takes. Texas doesn't. 3-12 versus the RPI top 50 this year. They played big teams, but every time they played them, they fell short. It's going to be the Bulldogs.
Again, Butler. I totally agree. Butler always does well in March. They come ready to play. Great coach, great coached. They always play well, and they're getting healthy at the right time. They're getting a lot of guys back, and I see them overwhelming Texas.
Okay. Well, you know what? Even though this doesn't matter, I'm going to go with Texas. You know what? I know Butler County is north of Pittsburgh, but I'm going with Texas. Leads the country in blocks, has great defense, limits opponents to a 36% field goal percentage, but you both chose Butler.
Well, you're wrong, so moving on.
All right, well, I actually agree with Phil, but majority rules, so Butler moves on. All right, time to go to the Sweet 16, Kentucky-Purdue. Who wins?
Well, Kentucky.
All right. West Virginia, Maryland. Who wins?
Maryland.
West Virginia. But I'm running West Virginia. They beat Kansas, Oklahoma, NC State. I'm taking West Virginia far, but
Maryland beat one of the best teams in the country in Wisconsin this year. It's Maryland.
Tyler, who do you got? Maryland?
Maryland
moves on. Butler, Notre Dame, the Battle of the Catholics.
Butler.
Notre Dame, they have better shooting, better defense.
I'm going to go along with Notre Dame. I have to, yeah.
All right, Notre Dame
because Notre Dame can't play D.
Wichita State, Kansas.
This is my big upset. Kansas has been inconsistent the entire year, and they're playing their little brother, so to speak, in Wichita State. Wichita State.
Kansas.
Wichita State. I agree.
Oh, so we got Wichita State moving on in a shocker. All right, Kentucky, Maryland, Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Notre Dame, Wichita State, boys.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame moving on. All right, do I even have to? All right, why is Kentucky going to win this game? 1 point.
They're the best team in the nation.
Depth.
The color blue.
I actually agree. I think Kentucky makes it out of the region. I don't agree with the Kansas-Wichita State because I think Wichita State's a little overrated. But the guys are final. They got Kentucky coming out of this. Next up, we'll be breaking down the East region. The East region, I will be joined by Blaine King, Paul Daniels, and returning is a former host of the Sideline, Chris Hoffman. All right, boys, we'll start off with NC State, LSU. Who you got?
Clearly NC State, guys. They have great guard play, and 3 of their guards, Trevor Lacey, Anthony Barber, and Ralston Turner, all average 12 points plus per game. I got NC State in this one.
I'm not going to lie. I had LSU going into this, but I switched over to NC State after I did research. This team's just scrappers.
And it's a good thing you did there, because LSU, the only competition
Yeah.
they play in the SEC is Kentucky.
Yeah,
It walks all
I got to
over.
go with
All right,
NC
so
State.
it sounds like we got NC State coming out.
NC State.
Brittany, NC State. All right, guys, Northern Iowa, Wyoming. Who you got in the mid-major battle?
Northern Iowa. I mean,
No,
look at this
absolutely
team.
no. 12-5 matchup. You got to go with the 12. You got to go Wyoming Cowboys.
I have a couple 12-5s, but it's not that one.
Yeah, I'm with you, Paul. I'm going with Northern Iowa. I just like they're shooting 53.9% from the field, and they shoot 40% from three-point range. That's unbelievable right there.
Well, I actually agree with Chris, but again, majority rules. Northern
Yep.
Iowa moves on. Louisville versus UC Irvine.
Louisville,
Is there an
just jump
upset
on
here?
that.
Oh, come on, no.
Louisville.
No. UC Irvine. Have you looked at their squad? They got a 7.
Louisville
They
plays
have
in
a
the
7.
ACC. Stop.
There's always
Stop.
one. There's always one
Stop.
13-4
Please
upset
stop.
a year, and
This
they have a
isn't it.
7'6"
give me-
Mama
oh,
Duo. I forget his name. Mama Duo.
Stop.
Nade.
Stop.
7'6" center. How are you gonna match up versus
Stop.
him?
No.
All right, Blaine, what do you got?
I guess I'm the decision maker. I was going to go with UC Irvine, but I'm going with Louisville
Thank
this
you.
one. Louisville, they're going to lose in the next round, though.
All right, guys, I guess we'll move the cards on. We're going to go with Michigan State and the Fighting Tom Izzos versus Mark Fox in Georgia.
Michigan State.
Michigan State.
I mean, I don't think there's
Tom
another
Izzo.
answer.
Tom
They
Izzo gets
almost
it done.
beat Wisconsin.
Tom Izzo gets it done every year, and they almost won the Big Ten.
I'm going with Georgia.
All right, well,
Georgia.
it doesn't matter.
No, stop.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
Georgia.
Providence versus Boise State and Dayton.
Dayton.
Yeah, Dayton beats Boise State. I'm going
Seth
with Dayton.
Miller.
Yeah,
I actually agree with you guys
Yeah.
on that
Pull up
one.
the
The
other
I'd rather
11-6
Dayton.
They can
upset.
do it again.
Oh, yeah.
All right, boys.
It's almost the home game for
All right,
them,
boys,
so.
we got Dayton moving on. Now time to go to the top of the bracket. We're going to go Nova, NC State. Upset here, does the one go down?
No.
Oh, that was
Nova.
fast.
Nova.
NC State moves on. Northern Iowa versus the Cardinals, baby.
Well, I had Northern Iowa over UC Irvine, so Northern Iowa is going to go to the
Oh,
Sweet
my
16.
goodness. Please
And
stop.
Paul, you know
One
what?
of the most efficient
Just
offenses.
stay there.
Paul, you know what? I'm with you on that.
Yes,
one. You and I.
Blaine.
Louisville is a small
Yes.
team. They're real small. They play well defensively, but they don't play well offensively. Northern Iowa is just going to go up and down the court.
All right, Chris, you're nodding your head. What do you have to say?
Louisville. They play in the ACC. You really think they're going to
They're
drop
on a
again?
down
They
year.
are. They
They're on a
struggled
down
going
year.
into the tournament.
This is a bad matchup for them. They're
It
very
is. They're
efficient
small.
offense.
They are small.
Chris, I think they're a lot smarter than you are. Northern Iowa moving on. All right. Dayton versus Oklahoma. Are the Sooners going to win?
Yes.
Yeah, I have the
Oh,
Sooners in
yes.
this one.
Dayton has some magic, but not enough.
I got Dayton.
Yeah, this is where their Cinderella run.
I got the
Clock
Cinderella.
strikes midnight.
I got
Yeah.
the Cinderella run keep continuing. It's only 10 o'clock. Clock didn't strike midnight yet. Dayton.
All right. Actually, I agree. I'm vetoing Chris and Paul. Yes, I'm using my one veto.
Oh, my
Chris,
goodness.
you did this a lot last year.
Oh, my
And I'm going to
Thank
go Boise State Dayton
Oh,
winner
come on.
beats Oklahoma because Oklahoma It's too streaky. They have one player.
Well, good
You
luck
can't
with
trust
your
them.
imperfect brain.
All right.
Thank you.
We got Michigan State versus Virginia.
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 I mean, that's not
I'm
even
going
a
with
No,
question.
wait.
No.
Michigan
come
State.
on,
No,
This is
Virginia.
the
Virginia.
2-7
Virginia
upset
plays
right here.
such great defense.
But Michigan
Michigan-
State is going to do what UConn did.
No.
Virginia's defense
Last year-
is fantastic. They hold opponents to usually 40 to about 50 points a game. Michigan
Yep.
State can't compete with that defense.
Travis Trice, great guard play. This tournament is won by great guard play every year. Travis
one
Trice,
defense
No.
Denzel
championship.
I got one.
Valentine.
I got one for you. Michigan State is shooting 63.3% from the free throw line. If this
Okay.
game comes down to free
If it
throws,
comes down to
Michigan
that-
State's not in it.
But it's not going to come down to that.
Yeah, because Virginia's going to kill Michigan State, so put it on the board, Kyle.
UVA.
Oh,
Veto it, Kyle.
UVA, we got killing them. All right, so Villanova versus Northern Iowa, guys.
Nova, please stop this Northern Iowa. Stop.
I
it.
have Northern
Stop it.
Iowa in the Elite Eight. I'm not
gotta
going to
be
lie.
kidding. No, please
They
stop,
are
Paul.
going to the Elite Eight.
Blaine, add some
Villanova is
sensibility
one of
to
the
this.
weakest #1 seeds in this tournament.
Right, you
I know you're from
be
Philly,
quiet.
so you're
Some
obviously going to
blasphemous words
Villanova.
coming off your
I
mouth.
am
Add
the
some
outcast
knowledge
here.
to this,
but
Blaine.
once UNI does it, they're going to the Elite Eight.
Paul, I guess you get overruled here. I guess Nova
you.
moves
Yeah,
on.
use another veto, Kyle, please.
They both said Villanova.
Nova.
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 See? All right, Dayton, Boise State versus Virginia.
Well,
Well, okay, Virginia, Dayton, it
Yeah,
ends. It
I
ends.
said
All right,
it ended too.
if-
I got
if
Dayton,
that
Virginia.
matchup
All right, so
happens,
Virginia
which is-
moves on. All right, 1 versus 2. Villanova, UVA.
Well, I had Louisville versus UVA, and Louisville beating them, but in this matchup, it's got to be UVA.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but that's not in my bracket. But if it was that matchup, it's Virginia. They have the better defense.
You guys
overall.
must be crazy. To our producers, Zach,
Oh, my Lord.
our Villanova Wildcats
No,
are going to the
stop,
Final
no.
Four.
All right,
No,
Blaine,
no.
we got UVA coming out of the region.
Thank you.
The next
Thank
region we'll go to is the West. It's time to talk about the West region. I'm rejoined by Phil Poupore, Trever Sheets, Tyler Jeski. All right, guys, are we going with the Oregon Ducks or Oklahoma State Cowboys?
Well, guys, I'm going to go first here because I'm the only one who has a brain. It's going to be
please.
Oklahoma State over Oregon.
Oh, you're out of your mind. It is the Ducks that are going to win.
They are going to smother Joseph
quack,
Young.
quack,
They are
quack.
going to smother Joseph Young like they smothered their biscuits and gravy.
But
Back to you,
it's
Kyle.
not, it is not just Joseph Young. They are averaging 75.6 points per game.
In
more than
the
Oklahoma-
Pac-12. Who's in the Pac-12 outside of UCLA?
Arizona, one of the best teams in the country.
Again,
It's Oregon, no doubt.
It's Oregon. They're going to
Or-
eat the biscuits and gravy from the
It's-
Oklahoma State players' plates.
All right.
Oklahoma State.
I think everyone here has a brain besides for Tyler.
Ouch.
It's all about Oregon. Well, Tyler, you called everybody else out because Oregon plays in a better conference than just UCLA. But that's a different topic. All
true.
right. The North Carolina Tar Heels versus Harvard Crimson. Who you guys got?
UNC.
UNC. Better
UNC.
team. It's not the same Harvard team
Yeah.
from last year. It's a weaker Harvard team, and even though they have the whole story with the Duke coach against UNC, it's going to be the Tar Heels.
All right. I guess we have North
no
Carolina
Cinderella this
moving
year
on,
for Harvard.
Brittany. All right. Arkansas versus Wofford. Are we going to see a 5-12 going down here?
Yep.
Yes, you will.
will
Wofford
not.
has played Duke, has played West Virginia, and beat NC State at NC State. It's the Terriers going on over the Razorbacks, who play in a very weak SEC and couldn't even beat the best team, Kentucky. Tried 3 times, failed each time.
Wofford, same reasons. Wofford's hot. Wofford plays better defense. It's Wofford.
Yeah, but you also realize using the Kentucky argument, no one's beaten Kentucky. It's not like.
True, 3 times though.
Well, even so, I have Arkansas. Bobby Portis, SEC Player of the Year.
Overrated.
That's who I would say to take over Wofford. But obviously, it doesn't matter because you two gentlemen don't know anything about the sport of basketball.
Well, Phil, I actually agree with you, but again, majority rules, and Phil, I still think you're the smartest guy in the room. So we'll have to move Wofford over to please everybody else.
Because we're right.
Virginia Commonwealth versus Ohio State. Are we going to see some high scoring here, boys? Who's going to win it?
Ohio State.
Wrong. It is VCU. Pressure defense is going to force the inconsistent Buckeyes into many turnovers. Shaka Smart's team's going to run up and down the court, and Ohio State's not going to be able to keep up.
I think.
Well, as the tiebreaker, I think I'm going to have to go with the man in red, Mr. Tyler Jeski. Ohio State,
Thank
a
you.
good shooting team, and they force a lot of turnovers themselves. Freshman D'Angelo Russell, 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. I'm
I
going
think
with
he's-
Only
OSU.
guy on the
think-
team.
all right.
I think
Only
he's
guy on
kind
the
of
team.
killing it out there.
Only
I think
guy
he
on the
can
team.
easily lead Ohio State. An Ohio State team that's kind of pretty a little sour about their early exit last year.
Because they sucked back then, too.
Ohio State does not
All
suck
right,
this
I
year.
think Tyler and Phil made a convincing point. Ohio State moves on. Oh, yeah, before we forget, Xavier versus BYU or Ole Miss?
Xavier.
If it would for sure be BYU, I think they have the better offense and can beat Xavier, but I am a big fan of Xavier's big guy, Matt Stainbrook. He gets 12 points per game. It's going to be Xavier.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Miles Davis along with Matt Stainbrook are both double-figure scorers. I'm going to have to go with Xavier.
Does no one believe in BYU, the triple-double man? Does nobody
have to get there first.
Does
They
no
have to
one
beat
believe in
Ole
Ole Miss?
No.
You guys are all crazy, but I guess we're moving the team of the X on. All right, back to the top. We got the Badgers playing the Ducks. Who you got?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Too many big guys, too much scoring. Ducks are out.
Easily Frank Kaminsky.
Yeah, one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best.
All right, so
say
Wisconsin easily moving on. North Carolina versus Wofford.
I have North Carolina. Wofford will have a nice story going into it, but they don't have enough to get back-to-back wins against big teams. It'll be North Carolina.
I agree. North Carolina, they usually whenever they get started rolling in March, they usually keep going. Better offense, they'll beat Wofford.
Yeah, Roy Williams is going to push the team this year. I say that UNC moves along as well.
I guess we're going with the baby blue moving on to North Carolina. All right, guys. Xavier versus Baylor.
Baylor. Bigger, stronger, faster, Baylor.
The Bears, Baylor.
So I guess Phil's still buying the Baylor medicine left over from football season.
That's right.
Baylor moves on. Ohio State versus Arizona.
Arizona.
Wow, that was convincing. Arizona
You know
moving
what?
on.
I'm going to go with OSU, actually, boys. How does this sound? The
Oh,
upset, the big upset. I'm riding the freshman guard, D'Angelo Russell. I'm taking OSU
TJ McConnell's
past
going to shut him
Arizona.
Yeah, once
Good
he-
shooting. OSU is going to force the turnovers. They're going to hit the shots. They're going to pull
down.
the
Stanley
upset.
Johnson will hit the shots. McConnell will settle him down. It's Arizona.
Well,
Agreed.
Phil, this time I actually disagree with you. Arizona's going to be moving on. All right, Wisconsin versus UNC.
Wisconsin.
UNC has been inconsistent this year. And it'll be a nice run for them, but Wisconsin's just too big, too physical for UNC.
Too fast.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Wisconsin.
Just the offensive play, Wisconsin. Frank
All right,
Kaminsky.
we got Frank the Tank and the Badgers moving on. Baylor Bears versus the Arizona Wildcats.
Baylor.
Oh, no. Nope. Why?
Baylor,
Please
most
tell me why.
physical team in the nation, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation. Baylor will pull off the upset against Arizona, guys.
Well, to tell you the truth, I was still riding OSU, but if I have to choose between those great teams, I'm going to go with the physicality and the 39% three-point shooting Baylor Bears.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Thank you.
Stanley Johnson and McConnell would dominate the Bears. There's no way Sean Miller's not making it to the Final Four.
We have to wrap it up, so Baylor.
All right, so
Mistake.
Baylor with an upset.
Thank you.
Wisconsin, Baylor.
Wisconsin.
Trevor.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, that's it.
Wisconsin moving on. Well, we'll finish up the regions by going down south and do the South region. To talk about the South, I'm joined by Blaine King, Paul Daniels, and Chris Hoffman. All right, guys, we're starting off with San Diego State versus St. John Red Storm.
San Diego State.
No,
No,
come on,
don't say-
guys.
don't-
It's
you
an
better not
8-9.
say St.
It's an
John's.
8-9
again.
matchup. I got St. John's.
They're
There's
down a big man. They're down.
But
Chris.
once
Obika.
again, great guards in D'Angelo Harrison and Rashid
Wait.
Jordan.
Wait, did you just call them great guards who don't pass the ball?
Yes.
Oh, wait, and the only player they do pass the ball to isn't playing. Paul, let these two explain why they're the smart people in this group.
Okay. San Diego State plays great defensive basketball, and they're at
Again,
yeah.
defense wins championships.
And it-
Championships this time
Exactly.
of year. And what conference is St. John's playing? The Big East is not.
So you have
The
San
Big
Diego
East. The Big
State winning
East.
the championship?
No,
All right,
no, you
all
can
right,
see
all
here
right.
they lose the next round
we
of
got
Duke.
San Diego State moving on. All right, 5-12. The Utah Utes versus Stephen F. Austin.
This is
Austin.
A 12.
Upset,
Yep.
upset.
Stephen
Austin.
F.
I think we got.
Austin
Yeah, I
in
think we have them all
Yeah.
going down.
Tough team to prepare for.
Exactly.
Very underrated. They did it last year at the VCU.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You see them doing it again.
And it was the same matchup, 12-5 then
Yep.
too.
Yep.
You know what, guys? You're a bunch of... Paul, I'm starting to like you again. Stephen F. Austin, we got moving on.
Thanks, Kyle.
Oh, I think we need to scratch this Georgetown game. They're going to lose to Eastern Washington.
Thank you.
Yeah, they
This
are.
is the same
They
Georgetown that lost to Florida Gulf Coast.
Oh my
Really?
God! It's not. That was when they had Otto Porter and stuff. Now they have Devontae Smith Rivera, and they also
Oh,
have
please.
good freshmen
No,
LJ
please,
Peak
please,
and
please.
Isaiah Copeland. They'll make it past the first round.
You
No,
think
they're
the
not.
freshmen
They're
aren't tired? They have not played a season this long.
In high school, it only goes so long. They're playing now in college. They got the conference tournament, the preseason tournaments. No, they're done. They're done.
Wait, Paul even admitted it. You wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised
Confirmed.
if Georgetown wins one game.
All right, SMU versus a team that probably shouldn't even be in the tournament, UCLA.
I have no
SMU.
respect for UCLA, SMU.
SMU coming off the American Conference Championship. I
Yeah.
got them.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go Iowa-Davidson.
Davidson.
I got Davidson.
They've been known to do
Is
it.
Steph
and
Curry still on the team?
No.
No. This is not the same Davidson team of a few
they have an
years ago.
offensive attack. They
Iowa
got 4
plays
great
in a
guards.
much stronger play. They had to take on Iowa State this year. They had to take on Michigan State. They play in a conference which has a lot of potential in the Big Ten. I can see them at least beating Davidson. Now, they're not going to go
Iowa.
deep.
You're snubbing
talking
the
about
A10
Iowa.
conference, though.
You're talking about Iowa. From
What's in the A10?
the
Temple,
Big Ten.
them.
TCU,
Yeah.
that's another good team. St. Louis, I believe, is in the
Yeah.
conference.
All right,
That's
so
another
we
good
have
team.
a Davidson,
Davidson.
Blaine,
Davidson.
Chris.
Iowa.
Davidson
Big
moves
Ten.
on.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Duke versus the defensive powerhouse and Steve Fisher, San Diego State Aztecs.
I got Duke choking here. I'm not gonna lie. Duke's gonna
No,
choke here.
not
I
yet.
got
Not
San Diego
yet.
State.
No, no,
I got
no,
Duke.
no, no.
I think Jaleel Okafor will
Exactly.
be too powerful.
Okafor has been a monster all year. Just ask UNC.
I'm just going
But
with
then again,
defense.
they did choke last year. so.
Not yet, but not yet. It's not yet.
Mercer
I think they
College.
learned their lesson
Not
last year after
University,
losing to
college.
Mercer College.
Yeah.
I agree. They're just too good of a team. Move them on past the San Diego State Aztecs. All right, we have the 12-13 matchup. Stephen F. Austin, Eastern Washington.
Stephen
Guys,
F.
who wins
Austin.
this?
They
I
continue.
actually have them beating
Yeah.
Georgetown.
Yeah.
If
I
you
got-
put Georgetown in the first round, my
I got
gosh,
Stephen F. Austin.
give them some credit.
So
But
let-
Stephen
let-
F. Austin.
Cinderella's story continues in the
Yeah.
South region.
All right, the Lumberjacks moving on. All right, guys, now we have the high-powered Larry Brown SMU Mustangs playing the very defensive-oriented Iowa State Cyclones. Who you guys got?
Well, you mentioned defense. This is where defense wins every year. Iowa State Cyclones sweep up the Mustangs.
I got Iowa State as well. They play conscious-free basketball. They seem to come back every time, and they're just a really good team this year. I got Iowa State.
Not that it matters, but I got SMU.
Blaine, why would you have SMU?
No.
Why?
Stop.
Oh, that's right. Larry Brown, coach for the Sixers.
Well,
All right,
no,
we have
but
Iowa State moving on.
No.
Davidson versus Gonzaga.
Zaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga.
Davidson. Davidson is
come
going
on,
to
no.
upset.
This
No,
is Gonzaga's time of year. Come on.
Every year
Worse than me.
disappoints. Disappoints
Gonzaga.
us.
They do
lost
disappoint,
to
but not
Wichita
this early.
State
Yeah,
when
they're
they
Wait, now
were-
wait a second.
They're great.
Wichita State's a pretty
Dad,
decent
that's a
team this
different
time of
story.
year. That's a different
You don't
team.
talk
All right,
Wichita
you guys will
like
be
that.
surprised. Come tournament
All
time.
right, I guess the powers are saying Gonzaga,
Veto it,
even
Kyle,
though Paul
please.
says no, no, no. All right, Duke, Stephen F. Austin. Can we just move Duke on?
Yes.
Yes, I got Duke.
All
Cinderella
right, we got,
story
we
ends.
got Duke, Blue Devils
I'm
moving
just gonna
on.
be devil
Now this is
advocate
a
and say
game. This should be a
Stephen
very
Oh,
interesting
no,
game.
Blaine, quiet.
High-powered Iowa State versus Gonzaga. Guys, Iowa State.
I got
versus
Zaga.
I got Iowa State. I think they're an underrated. I think Iowa State could have been a 2 seed this year, honestly. But Gonzaga again is overrated. They play in a weak conference. They're gonna get shocked again.
They do play in a
versus-
weak conference, but they're well rested then for this time of year. This could be the time the stars actually align from. They're in this every year. Eventually, you have to get a time where it works out.
I guess I gotta break the tiebreaker here. Gonzaga.
Thank you.
All right, I'm using the second veto. Iowa
No.
State.
Yes. What?
And I thought
What a
Paul
great
was the
veto.
dumbest one in this room
Thank
right
you.
now.
All right, Duke, Iowa State.
Well,
Duke chokes.
I guess Iowa State. 'Cause
Iowa State.
I had
I had
Zaga
them.
beating
Paul,
Duke, so
yeah,
Iowa
This is the
State.
exact
San Diego
matchup.
State.
Paul and I are on the same wavelength.
Thank you.
All right, when we get back, it'll be time for the Final Four. I'll be joined by an All-American crew we have to talk about it. I'm joined by our All-American crew, Blaine King, Paul Daniels, Chris Hoffman, Trever Sheets to talk about the Final Four. All right, guys, Kentucky versus Wisconsin. Is Kentucky going to finish undefeated?
Yes, that is the answer. Coach Calipari will do it again. He's a Moon Area alum. Moon Area does it the best. So right there is just enough said right there.
Chris, this is where the perfect season ends.
Oh,
Wisconsin
no. Come on.
has
No,
the
no.
ability to knock off Kentucky.
Who do
and
they have
will.
besides Kaminsky? Who do they have?
Sam Decker? He can shoot the three very well. They take very good care of
They're
the
going to take
basketball.
on
They
an
don't-
all-pro lineup that's going pro next year in the NBA in Kentucky and beat them. No.
And Wisconsin is not deep. They have two
Michigan
legitimate guys
State
coming
almost
off
knocked
the
them
bench.
off. Coley Smith
pressure.
will take care of Kaminsky. The Harrison brothers will run up and down the court. It's Kentucky.
We forgot, though, it's this time of year where pressure just mounts on top of it. And now that they have the perfect season on the line, I think one of these times they'll crack.
Well, remember, Wisconsin also has wanted this game for a while. They're going to be nervous going in, too. They want to blow it back-to-back years and cost themselves the championship back-to-back years. It's going to be Kentucky.
And it's the Final Four. All bets are off. It really is who wants. And Kentucky's going to want by this point. You are 2 games away from a perfect
all right, Chris,
season.
you've been talking a lot. Blaine, what do you have to say? You're being really quiet.
Yeah. Paul, what happened last year between Kentucky and Wisconsin?
Well, yeah. But, I mean...
No. I just told you what happened.
All right. Kentucky win. Different team. Different team.
No. You think I'm going against you. I'm actually going with you.
Oh,
Kentucky's
no.
the
Yes,
Cinderella
Blaine.
story.
No.
Comes up
Kentucky
clutch.
is just going to lose this game. Wisconsin's bigger. They've been preparing for this all year. Yes, Kentucky, they have an all-star starting 5. But first of all,
Wisconsin shouldn't have even won their conference. Michigan State almost beat them.
The Sixers, and they're going to realize that, and they're going to choke here.
How is Wisconsin bigger? Tell me that.
Okay. Well,
Well, besides what? Besides,
Frank.
On paper,
Yeah,
Kentucky
they have
is-
Frank the
on
Tank.
paper,
Okay,
I'm not
that's it.
arguing on
All right,
paper,
all right,
Kentucky's
guys,
a better
all
team,
right.
but Wisconsin is going to upset them.
We have 2 for Wisconsin. We got 2 for Kentucky. So
make the
I'm
right
tiebreaker.
decision.
Don't screw it up, Kyle.
Wisconsin.
My heart says this team could beat Kentucky. But Kentucky's undefeated for a reason, and you're right, they're deeper. Kentucky's going to the national
Finally, you're
championship
using
game.
that brain.
All right,
I'm going
we
to
got
use my veto.
We got Virginia versus Iowa State. Who's going to play Kentucky from the other side?
Well, this game might end 2-0 because you got 2 good defensive teams. It's just a tough one, guys. We're actually have to talk
It's
about
a
this.
tough
We have to
one.
break this one down.
See, I mean, somehow you guys miraculously saved my national championship matchup. I have Iowa State. I had Iowa State beating Northern Iowa, actually. But Iowa State, while they have a great defense, they actually have offensive scoring. Virginia doesn't. They continually, outside of maybe 2 or 3 games this year, scored mostly in the 50s. They don't have any legitimate scoring. Iowa State has at least a couple guys who can put the buckets up.
Trevor, you make a good point there. Virginia, they're big both up court and down court, but or I should say down low and up top, but they can't score. So that's the exact reason why I'm going to go with Iowa State too. They just seem like a complete team, and we can't forget about George Niang, one of the top players in the country, if I had to say.
It's a unanimous decision then, because I got Iowa State as well in the finals in my bracket, except it was versus Michigan State. But Iowa State will advance in this one. They're once again, they play freely and they know how to get it done down the stretch.
And
Iowa State.
And they're hungry. They show that video after they won the Big 12 tournament. They want more than just that tournament victory.
Tyler's trying to convince us to
Well,
go with UVA.
No.
In
That's why
my
he's not on
personal
here.
bracket, I actually have UVA moving on. But you guys, I think, have convinced me. Cyclones are moving on. All right, that means we have a national championship game, which is going to be the big, bad, undefeated Kentucky Wildcats playing the little old Midwestern Iowa State Cyclones, trying to slow the pace down. Are we going with the young run gun team? Or are we going with the old and slow team of
Well, when you
Iowa State?
put it like that, I mean, you're going to want to cheer for Iowa State. I mean, you just wrote the movie of Hoosiers, basically. You just want to cheer for Iowa State to win it all, which they potentially could. With the defense they have, they really could. But I mean, you got to think, if you are Kentucky, you are 1 game away from perfection. You know you're going pro next year. You want that national title.
Exactly.
This is your time.
It's a rallying. If they needed a rallying point, this is the rallying point for Kentucky. They realize most of these guys are gone. This will be the last time they ever play with each other as a team. They're not going to let anyone else get in their way. It's going to be Kentucky.
Well, it's not going to happen. I mean, Wisconsin will knock off Kentucky,
Oh,
but
please,
nonetheless,
Stop.
nonetheless, if I had to
You two need
choose in
some
that
education.
matchup,
You go back to class tomorrow.
it will be Kentucky. Once they get to the finals, I see them blasting Iowa State.
And
in this
hopefully
game.
Wait.
John Caliparo actually
Did you
remembers
just say
cut down the nuts this time.
blasting Iowa State?
blasting.
Iowa State will make this a close game.
I didn't get to pick
Maybe.
Iowa State will keep the game within 5 because you know what? Iowa State's a veteran team. They're a physical team. No, yeah, they're Kentucky.
so what do you think?
A 4-on-1 shutout because Blaine, I'm picking Kentucky too. So the Kentucky Wildcats will be undefeated this season because the Pioneer Sideline says they'll do it. But that actually means nothing if you've judged our performances in the past because we all know UConn should have won it last year. Because you know who picked UConn? This guy.
Oh, please.
So
Please.
we're
Way
still
to pat
going to go
yourself
with
in the back
Kentucky
there-
because
back
that's who
there.
I think is going to
Oh,
win.
my Lord.
Well, that does it here for this week on the Sideline. Join us again next week for when we return to Point Park sports coverage on the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, the same Pioneer Sideline.